All right. I'm a little close, but it's cool. It's cool. It's cool because I'm live on the book face, and I hope y'all can hear me as I wait for you all to come on in so we can get ready for the season finale of Lip Talk. This is our first time going live, and this is our last show for the season. We're going to take a little break. I'm waiting for my co-host, the lovely Miss Sophia, to come in. And we're going to get this thing popping, okay? It is Wednesday night. It is 7:20 p.m. And we're here. Most of y'all are watching probably your Bible studies online. Most of y'all are probably at church. And most of y'all are doing nothing. Probably just got off work like I just did. And you ain't doing nothing, you know? So why not be on here with your boy and your favorite co-host Sophia as we give y'all this purpose therapy on tonight? How about that? How about that? Lip Talk is going live for the first time, and it's our season finale. It's our season finale. Doesn't mean that we're gone. It just means that we'll be taking a break because we got other stuff to do, y'all. We got a lot to do. We got a lot that we're doing. Inclusive talk. Inclusive entertainment, by the way, inclusive entertainment, inclusive apparel. We have another photo shoot coming up. Got another photo shoot coming up on next Saturday, not this Saturday coming, but next Saturday on the 20th. I'm excited about that because we're dropping a new shirt for Women's Month, and celebration of our young queens. Hey, cousin. So we're dropping that. I'm dropping a new hoodie soon, and so look out for that. Doing a lot of things, I'm revamping, the podcast and the whole brand of entertainment, of inclusive entertainment, and we're just trying some new things and doing what we do. So, if y'all want to have great conversation on the night, this is where you need to be. We're talking about purposeful growth, okay? And again, like I said, my co-host will be here soon. Hopefully, she got the memo. And thank y'all. This is an opportunity for me to say this live so that you can hear me say it. Thank y'all for watching the show continuously. Lip Talk is probably one of the biggest shows on the brand of Inclusive Talk Podcast. And I thank you for making that possible, okay? I truly thank you. It should have gave you are you on your phone or your laptop, Sophia? Hey, LaShonda, are you on your phone or your laptop? Fee. That's going to make a difference on how I can get you in. Are you able to get on your phone? I don't think, because I tried to do it from my laptop as well. You may have to do it from your phone, if that's possible. Facebook need to change that. We need to be able to put people on live, no matter what device they have, because it may be better quality on your laptop than on your phone, and then you don't want to risk the whole thing of people calling and interrupting and all that kind of stuff. But again, welcome tonight, y'all. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, Brandy. Listen, share this live. I don't necessarily, care about it going viral, but I do care about it going to the right places. And again, this is our season finale. This is our last episode of the season 1 of Lip Talk, LYP, Living Your Purpose. And again, as I was saying, I just thank y'all for showing your love, showing your appreciation, and watching our shows, listening to our shows on Spotify and Anchor and Lip Talk. Lip Talk and on Google and Apple Music, and watching us on YouTube. Getting our subscriptions up there watching us on Facebook, and it's been good. Here we go. There we go. I see you now. And as always, I'm introducing my lovely co-host, as Facebook is adding her. My lovely into the building. Huh? Come on, Facebook. Do your thing. Stop being so slow. Thank y'all for sharing the live. Come on. What we doing? You got your Wi-Fi on, Fee? Because I got my Wi-Fi on. Make sure you get your Wi-Fi. Make sure y'all have your Wi-Fi on when you come on the live. As Medea said, your waffle. Okay, don't go nowhere. Let's do this. Is it doing it? Okay. Sophia, if you're on here, send a request to come on. If you're on here, just send a request to come on. I saw you did it earlier, but I had knocked you out. So just send a request to come on, and then we'll start. Okay. Send a request to come on the live. And then I'll add you. Okay. Okay. Connecting. And we're there.
Hi.
Sis, do you have your Facebook on just friends only?
Yes.
That's why I said that. Okay. Gave me a little message. It was like your friends won't be able to watch it unless we got the same friends. So that means your thing ain't public, which is cool.
Okay.
Unless you want to change it.
Hold on.
Okay.
My battery is low.
Okay.
All right. I'll just.
Can y'all hear us? Can we be heard? Let us know. How do you feel about tonight, Sophie? Yeah.
So I gotta get back into the.
Okay, so I'm gonna do something real quick. I'm gonna change out my headphones real quick, and then I'll be back, and then we can start. Hold up.
Okay, maybe I should get to. You got it. I'm gonna get. Actually, my phone is charged.
Okay. Sophie.
Yes.
This is okay. This is good. So we're gonna put these away. Okay. So you say you feel good about tonight. You feel good about the finale. You feel good about the first season. of lip talk.
Okay.
Going on, Taurus. That's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna do my shares. I'll just go ahead and do my shares while we're at it. How was your day, Sophie?
My day was okay. It was a rough day. Just hustling all day, like moving from thing to thing.
Yeah, just a
Yeah.
regular Wednesday, huh?
Uh, that's not a regular Wednesday.
It's
I
not. It
suppose.
usually is. It usually Wednesdays, that's why they call it hump day. You gotta get over the hump. That means, yeah, Brandy, that means we're done for now. We're gonna take a quick break. If you able to get your phone and okay, there you go. Scoot yourself up there you go.
I
Make it
can't because it's charging and my charger
Oh,
cord
okay.
is not that long.
That's fine. If
Let me
they
fix that.
No, you're not late. We didn't even get started yet, sis. You're not late, Teresa. We didn't even get started yet. It's okay. That's perfect right there, Sophie. That's actually perfect.
Yes, but I do want to give a disclaimer that I'm holding my phone. So y'all know how it is when you're holding the device and it's not steady. Just telling you.
So if you see a little shaking.
Right. Like right now.
Okay, so no, Brandy. What's going on? We're just taking a quick break. Sophie and I, we're actually doing something now. That's fun. That is Sophie's project. So we decided that we wasn't gonna. I got a project that's coming up, so we wasn't gonna overwhelm ourselves with trying to do a year long podcast like everybody does because we actually got things that we do, right? So, and I got other podcasts that I'm building and I'm branding and putting on. So we're gonna come back. When we come back, we're gonna come back better. We're gonna do guests. We're gonna do different topics. It's not just gonna be based on purpose, but it's still gonna be inspirational and uplifting and encouraging and empowering. Um, so, because we was like, we don't want to run out of topics, talking about purpose because there's only so much you can do. So that's what we decided, right? And but we've had fun. I know I've had fun working with Sophie. Sophie probably hates me. You hate me, Sophie?
I do not hate Darius. I
That's
believe him.
right, Arsenio. We're gonna have some guests. People that's gonna come on and share their experience with their journey with purpose. I definitely want to hear other people. You like guests, Lord. Okay, so I gave Sophia. And don't mind us. This is regular stuff. This is what we do when y'all are getting the behind the scenes from what we do when we record. So this ain't nothing right here. So enjoy. We usually take 20 minutes before we even start, so that's fine. So we gonna be live. But I came to Sophie and I was like, I was last minute, sis. I know I was very last minute, but it came to me, and I was like, purposeful growth. And I'm glad you asked me that question to explain what, no, not scenes. No, hush. What it means to grow, mentally. Because I feel like mental growth is something that we make decisions on. We make decisions to mature, right? We don't really make decisions to grow physically because that happens just with nature. We grow physically just by getting older and by aging and by developing and the food that we eat and all that kind of stuff, the water we drink. But mental maturity happens, it comes from experiences, right, y'all? It comes from, dealing with certain things and making a decision to either do the right thing or do the wrong thing. That's, to to me is mental maturity. That's purposeful growth because you're choosing to grow purposefully, depending on what you know your purpose to be and actually what you're doing in this time. So I want to say right now that if you have questions for us pertaining to this topic or purpose or whatever, or if you have whatever, you can drop them in there and we'll do our best to read your questions and answer statements and all of that. So welcome to Lip Talk. I am your host, Mr. Inclusive, and this is my lovely co-host. What's your name, baby girl? Even though I already said it.
Yeah.
Sophia, and this is our live Facebook season finale of Lip Talk. Welcome to the show. So, what do you think about what I just said?
Um,
I know it's a
mental
lot.
growth. So, define that again. Define that term again.
Mental growth to me is something that is based on decisions that we make in our life. Mentally growing, mentally experiencing certain things, developmental growth. It's different from physical growth. Again, physical growth is we age, we eat certain foods, we have certain things in our system that helps us grow and all that kind of stuff. So that comes naturally. Mental growth don't necessarily come naturally. That comes from living, truly. So mental growth to me is pretty much lined up with purposeful growth because if I'm purposefully doing something that I want to grow in this and I want to get better and I want to get wiser and I want to really connect with this thing. So I'm purposefully growing in my craft, in my life, in my marriage, in my this, in my that. And I think purpose. Hey, Faith. I think purposeful growth is necessary, but it's definitely different for everybody. What do you think?
Um, yes, I agree with that. Um, yeah, I dare say that mental growth is something that you have to, it's not something that is going to happen through experience only. You actually have to work at it and you have to
Right.
practice, because we can have a lot of experiences and be the same person we were 10 years ago, right? Like we know people who we can predict their choices based on things
Hmm.
they did 10 and 15 years ago. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I dare say it's not just experiences that you need practice and you need to have like a conscientious effort. Like, I am going to grow in this part of my life because, like you said, when we grow physically, we're not even in control of that so much. I mean, aside from like health wise, weight gain, but we're not in control of like our height and things like that. So,
Hmm.
yeah, you have to really be thoughtful about it. And I think that looking at it like that you have to be thoughtful, that's where the purpose comes into play at. Because
Mm,
you usually when we decide, you know what, I
I
want
feel.
to grow as a person, and when we
Right.
make that
Right.
decision, it's usually because we want something out of life that we realize we're not getting because we haven't had that mature moment in
Mm.
our being, in our actions, in the way we think, in the way we express. So, yeah, I dare say that it's not just about your experiences. It definitely is experiences are a part of it because
Yes.
they're kind of like one of the dominoes that have to come into effect for you to even make that decision. Like, okay, I got to do something different here. But
Right. Right.
you also have to work at it, and you have to develop who it is that you want to be as far as like emotionally, intellectually, even like creatively, spiritually, those kinds of things, they're not just going to fall on your lap. Um, you really have to be concerned about them. A part of your day, excuse me, a part of your day, a part of your life has to be dedicated to,
Hmm.
that part of you growing. So yeah, I agree with that. I just wanted to add that It also has to be a thought behind it, you know?
So I want to read something,
Okay.
and this is defining purposeful growth, and I find this to be interesting. So this says the definition of purpose is pretty broad, right? I said it all the time. The reason for which something is done or created, or for which something exists, but it's the flavor of the decade. You know, certain people, marketers or whatever, have bastardized the concept of purpose in so many ways, right? So can we be a bit more purist about purpose? Probably not. The horse has already bolted, but in a recent study entitled Growth Drivers, led by brain learning, purpose emerged as a key driver of growth. Purpose has been heralded to drive growth by many. So purpose is something that drives growth. Remember, in the beginning of our season, we talked a lot about being on the road to purpose. You know, being on that purpose road. So this is saying that purpose is what drives the growth. You know, it's because you have that purpose. It's what makes you want to grow in what you're doing, grow
Mhm.
in what you're learning, and what you're. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's thank you, Chandra. Um, what do you feel about that? What is something in your own life, in your own experiences growing up, that you felt like you put more growth in because you felt more purpose in that thing?
Um, my intellectual growth. You
Hmm.
know, I was
Hmm.
I was okay in school. I really didn't have any struggles, so I wasn't really that ambitious in school and things like that. But when
Hmm.
I got to college, it was a whole new ball game. I think I probably wasn't as challenged as I needed to be when I was in high school. So when I got to college, it was like, no, ma'am, you cannot come in here with those awful study habits and lackadaisical. You're not going to pass any of these
Hmm.
classes. None of them are
Hmm.
that easy. So I had to like say to myself, first of all, I really, really wanted to do well. And then I had to say to myself, don't you want to? You know what got me? Let me tell you guys a story. I went to college. I'm not going to tell you the backstory to before I went to college because I don't want to offend anybody. but I, but
Right. Okay.
especially when it's just us, y'all, I'll tell y'all the story, okay? But I went to college, and every corner that I turned, I was being confronted. I was a freshman, like most of my friends, but I was being confronted by these really, really smart freshmen. And I have like a bunch of stories that I can tell you guys about a moment when I was sitting in a group with other people my age who looked like me. I went to a historically black college. So
Hmm.
it wasn't like, oh, well, they probably came from a prestigious school. I couldn't make that, not that black kids don't go to prestigious schools, but that just wasn't my first stereotype of them, because they looked like me and they
Right.
talked like me. So um, I just kept coming into these encounters when I would be in groups with everyone, and I kept, just feeling like, dang, I didn't know that. Like they would just know stuff. I remember one time I went on this choir trip, and we were all hanging out in someone's room, and they were watching College Jeopardy. So as
Hmm.
they're watching College Jeopardy, like these kids are like saying the answers. So I'm sitting there,
Right.
God dang, I don't know any of this crap, right? So that really bothered me. But it was whatever. But that was like an example of the kinds of things that would happen. So I told myself, look, if you want to, be more intellectual and you want to be able to have a conversation and talk about things that you didn't just have to study for class, then you have to be that kind of person. Like they're not just showing up on the scene like that. They're probably reading a lot and doing a lot of things that get them there. So I didn't really go out of my way because I really didn't have the time to do it, but I didn't really go out of my way to extend my knowledge beyond what I was learning. But what I would do if I had an assignment, if I was taking a class, I was really trying to learn every bit of information that we were assigned, textbook
Mm.
wise. Like if they said read all 3 chapters, I was like, I'm reading all 3 chapters. Because it started really making me feel behind, like
Right,
my
right,
school did not produce these kinds of students. And I
right,
remember even like in a class one day, a teacher brought something up and she was telling us that we needed it. And I raised my hand and I'm like, okay, excuse me, what is that? And everybody in the class looked at me like this. I was
right.
like,
How dare you?
this is crazy. So like I told myself when I got to college, like when they assign something to you, go for it. Don't,
Mm.
don't sit on it or don't do the bare minimum, which I couldn't do anyway because I couldn't pass like that, like I was doing
Right,
before college. But I really started, and then beyond that, I started saying to myself, if you want to know something, go learn about it. Like anytime I wanted to know how to do something or what something was, I would go learn about it. So when I first went to college, Google wasn't a thing. But a few
right.
years later, Google came out. And when Google came out, I was unstoppable, y'all. Like I was like, okay, let's go. Anytime I wanted to know something, I was Googling it because I didn't have to like go to a library or anything like that. But yeah, so that was a time when I felt like, okay, you want to be as articulate as your peers. You want to be able
Mm.
to express yourself the way they can express themselves. And you don't want to feel like the odd man out. You have to do something about it, girl. Like you just can't walk around doing the bare minimum in everything that you do. So
So
that
you
was a
fed your
moment.
intellect. You fed your
Yeah, for me,
intellect,
it was
pretty much.
intellect. There were many things in my life that I wanted to be better at, but for me, that's like
Mhm.
the most profound thing because then eventually I went into a career that where I needed to encourage people to value their intellect that way. So it kind of was
Mm.
like befitting for me to even have an experience like that, you know? So yeah, that was a moment
I
for
like it.
me. What was a moment for you where you felt like you needed to evolve in a certain area of your life?
Oh man. Um, I probably would have to say in my personal development within my own self, like nothing that has to do with music or arts or anything,
Mm,
just just probably me spiritually. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
I was truly very spiritually immature, and so I could, if I dare use this word, so carnal and into myself and into what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do things that I truly was not growing spiritually or in my heart nor in my mind, you know? Or if I was gaining a lot of information, I did not know how to put it in use. So I was just a bucket of knowledge, a bucket of words, a bucket of information with nowhere to pour it out to,
Hmm.
with nobody to pour it out to, because I did not have the resources. I was not being filled properly, you know? And as I decided to step away from that and want to have that type of growth to where all of it connects in one. With my heart, my mind, my spirit connects in one, then I'm more understanding of things. I'm more so that's why that's like that. Okay, that's how you get there. That's those are the types of people that you connect with. It was for me a way of living that was off. That I felt that everybody needed to be what I wanted them to be, and it was truly trying to think of a word that's better than what I was thinking. It was truly um, kind of like it helped me back. You know what I'm saying? It kind of put a pause on my growth and on my forward moving. And I had to definitely start nourishing that, and I had to start, you know, driving that more and exercising that skill more of just opening myself to other things and not being I learned how to be open minded. I was really closed minded.
Give us an example of what you like, a moment where you felt like that. So,
Oh, go ahead.
because I'm just trying to visualize like what you're saying. Um, so because you said a few things in there. You said you were always wanting people to be what you thought they should be. Um,
For me in my life, like I was so close to other people's way of thinking or operating. I wasn't focused on that. It was about how I wanted to operate spiritually for me, what I thought it was, how I thought it should be, in my life, with the people that surrounded me or who I'm surrounded by. And I had to open myself up to that. I had to be open to to understand people and to
mm,
understand why things are the way they are, why things are operating the way that it is. So for me, it was a person thing. It was a mental, it was a heart, and it was a spirit thing of my growth being stifled, and I did it to myself, you know, and it was a lot of when I say I was talked to so much about expanding, opening up, listening, and I was just like, no, I refuse. I don't have to. I don't, and it was like, you're going to miss out on so much. And you're not going to be able to grow in the field that you want to do because you're so close. And so I had to make a conscious decision. I had to be purposeful. And because I truly would not be doing what I'm doing now if I did not open myself up to being more coherent, more, and having the ability to listen beyond myself. You know, that's a
mm.
stifling thing, and there's no growth in that. And so I had to literally put that aside, in order for me to grow and mature, and I can, and so for me, it kind of fed all of the other areas of my life when I expanded myself mentally and with my heart and
Mhm.
spiritually. It kind of opened up a lot of areas in other places where, you know, now instead of me coming to you, you're coming to me because there's a different type of look that I have, a maturity, a way of that I carry and handle, and it's not a, oh yeah, see, he seems like he ain't ready yet. That's what I would get. No, you ain't ready yet, and it was because of the growth was stifled. It was stifled. But for me, when it comes down to being purposeful, I think that you should truly be purposeful in everything that you do, right? If you can, you know, in everything that you do, because one feeds the other, one feeds the other, one feeds the other. It's literally a train of things that are connected to you and what you do and who you are. And so if I could, because I was somewhere that I wanted to bring up. Um, yeah, here we go. It says growth drivers are more likely to have a clear purpose, customer centered leadership at the highest level, and a clear compatibility strategy. The factors that most differentiate them from others are having a joined up strategy around the customer experience, along with the structure and compatibility strategy to enable their people to deliver it. What does that say to you? Is that a little too deep?
I need you to read it again.
Okay.
I need you to read it again. I'm sorry.
So, okay. It pretty much says this. It says purpose is a leading characteristics of growth driver organizations. Some 87% are guided in everything they do by a clear purpose. The others have stated purpose, but these are, to cite one respondent, mission laminated, not lived. Growth driver companies, by the way, are defined by organizations with a track record of greater than 6% growth per annual for the previous 3 years, confined of hitting the growth goals for the next 3 years. So these are people that have put goals on their growth. They have put, you know, I want to reach here by this time as far as my growth is. I want to be able to be here by the end of April. You know, I want to reach this type of growth in this area by April 1st, by May 1st. You know, that's what they have done. Have you ever, to me that's a little anal, but have you ever been so strategic in your growth of, okay, I need to be at this certain level by the time I hit 30.
Yeah, I try to do that kind of stuff, but I can't think like that anymore because goals for me personally don't work like that. So I really have to
Hmm.
take things goal by goal and I have to really put focus on one thing and don't think of it like there is an, an age deadline. I mean, there has to be
Mm,
deadlines, but I have to think of it like in the way you would think of a project and just think about finishing, completion. Like that's my internal cue. You have to complete what you start, and that
exactly,
allows me
exactly.
to check off on my check off list. But I wanted to say that I don't think that that's anal to attach something to your growth, like something
Okay,
tangible to your growth. And I'm going to tell
okay.
you why. Because um, the visual, like I'm all about the visual, and I think most people like to determine that you've grown as a person, there has to be some type of evidence. For example, if I say that I want to uh be better with my temper, and I don't want to
Right.
jump off the handle. If I say I'm going to go to therapy, I'm going to do yoga, I'm going to meditate, and I do all those things, but I'm never confronted by a situation that would normally make me lose my temper, there is no evidence
Mm,
that I've really mastered that
mm,
growth. So it's kind
mm.
of like we have to attach some type of goal to it. So maybe um if that were my goal, if losing my temper was the thing that I was working on or that I was trying to grow more with, then maybe I would set a goal to say, I'm going to start doing community service hours because working for free could really get on your nerves.
Right.
But if you can be graceful and work for free, you've proved a point that, you can resign your frustrations in an environment that doesn't serve you.
Mm.
So like sometimes you have to have that tangibility, you have to have that visual, because if there's no evidence, you don't feel the growth. You Hold on, guys, someone is knocking at my door.
You have a visitor?
Well, it's 7:58 at night. What the heck? Hold
I
on.
don't I don't know.
I'm
Go
scared. Don't move.
go. I'm gonna ask them a question. Go ahead.
Who is it?
So while Sophia is seeing who's at her door, that's okay. Um, I want to read this to y'all. Purpose can be defined simply as a reason for being, right? I want y'all to write whoever's in here in the comments. The first question I want to ask is, do you know what your purpose is? Do you know what your purpose is? I want you to write yes or no. If you know what your purpose is, Write it in the comments right now, and then I'll ask my follow-up question. Do you know what your purpose is? You have a clear idea, a clear understanding of what your purpose is in life. Everything good?
Yeah, child. It was my dad.
Oh, hey,
Uh-huh.
pops.
You know, y'all were like, "Oh, what are you doing?" Or no?
Listen,
No, it was
it's
his.
a man.
I know. I was like, "What?" No,
But while
God.
Sophia finishes her story, write the answer to: do you know what your purpose is? Are you aware of your purpose? You can, if you know where you stop now, you can finish, Sophia.
That's all I was going to say is that I thought that it's not really anal. Like if you have a growth goal, because like Derek said, growth can't it's not physical because we don't control that aspect of our growth. But if you have an area in your life where you want to grow, I think it's okay to attach a goal to that. You know, I want to do this. Okay, so my first goal is I want to be a singer. My first goal is to get a gig in the spring, you know, because it's evidence for you. And it's a boost, it's a confidence boost. And then you build from there, you know. So that's all that I was saying.
So I was reading to them something that says purpose can be defined simply as a reason for being. Purpose is the reason why you're here, right? There's a reason why you're here. In the context of personal leadership, it is a goal larger than oneself that matches one's skills and interests with the needs of the world. Woo! Let me read that again. It is a personal. It's a goal larger than oneself, a goal that's larger than me, that's larger than you, that matches one's skills and interests with an S with the needs of the world. So my purpose is not anything that's not connected to what the world's needs are. If I'm not affecting the world with what I'm doing, that's not my purpose. It's a gift, it's a talent, it's something to do, it's a hobby, but it's not my purpose, right? Because your purpose has to be something that is connected to the needs of the world. Michael Jackson had such a way of healing and affecting the world with his music. That was his purpose, right? Miss Sonia's on here. Miss Sonia, we've seen her with her plays, with her writing, affect different states, different cities, different people with her writing, with her plays, now with her movies. That's her purpose. When you hear testimonials and people coming to you saying, oh my God, you blessed me. Oh my God, if it wasn't for you doing what this right here, I wouldn't have made it. That's when you know that's what your purpose is, right? For the kids that come up to you and say thank you years from now, that's going to come and find you when you 62 in your rocking chair eating soup. They're going to retire from the school board. And somebody going to find you. They're going to be one of your students and they're going to say, Miss Woods, thank you. Miss Gelsey, whatever they call you, Miss Sophia,
Whatever they call
thank
me.
you for all the years of me being under your teachership, under your leadership, because you touched me, you impacted me. That's when you know what your purpose was. And don't get me wrong, we've said it before. You find out your purpose, sometimes people find it out early in life. Some people don't tap into it until later in life, but it's always inside of you. That's the most important thing. One quick thing, Sophia, people really liked our the one where we was in the black. Both of us was in the black. That episode, they loved that episode about what were we talking about? We were talking about um legacy, right? We were talking about legacy and does it still exist? Do you think that having a legacy is still important? People were coming and it was like, I've been thinking about that. And people just don't talk about that no more. And somebody was like, you said something about while you're in the pit, while you're in your valley, the best thing to do when you're in your valley is to rest. And I said, well, what else you gonna do? Because he ain't gonna hear you. He ain't gonna hear you if you're crying. He ain't gonna hear you if you're complaining. He ain't gonna hear you if you're moaning. He can't work things out for you while you're in the valley if you're constantly complaining and you're not praying. Or if you're not praying, then you need to just be resting. Rest in your valley. Rest in your pit. Because when you wake up, you'll realize, oh God, you've been working on my behalf. Now I can appreciate this mountaintop that you're about to have me experience. I can appreciate the mountains so much more because I've been through the valley. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't slumber. I didn't moan and complain while I was in the valley. I appreciated my valley moment because I knew that the only person that could hear me in my valley moment was God, was Jesus. And that's the only person that can give you your purpose. People can tell you what they think that's gonna be and what they see in you, and they can prophesy or prophesy or be Miss Cleo in the Lord. Call me now, but only God can tell you what your purpose is, give you what your purpose is, and instill that in you from birth. And that's why it's good to have your purpose driven by growth, or have your growth driven by purpose, should I say. Your growth in life, whether you are growing mentally, spiritually, intellectually, whether you're growing in music, in the arts, whether you're growing as a parent, it should be purposeful. It should be purposeful. You should not want to stay this. You're 13 and you're still here at 30. You're still here at 45. You're still here at 60. You have not done any type of elevation. I tell people when they say new year, new me, or I've changed, no, you haven't. You're going to be the same person that you've always been. But the difference is you're going to have a spurt of elevation. You're going to have a moment of growth. But you're still you. Your character does not change. So you can't change characters. You can't be you one day and then jump over. So I'm this person and think
No,
that no,
I thought you
you
meant
can't
like,
change.
do you feel like people can, this question is for everybody too. Do you guys feel like people can change their internal character, like their
The moral
uh
compass.
yeah. Well, I guess you can change your moral compass, but I'm talking about like that your character, like, I don't know how to ask this question.
I don't think it'll be long lasting. I don't think it'll be something that you can maintain for the rest of your life. Maybe you can be somebody different for that moment.
Do
Like if I
you
like, go ahead. I'm sorry.
do you feel like you're born who you are and then like you just sort of build on that, or you can do a change and become like someone else, or
I totally feel that everybody has a core, right? Everybody has that core place, and I call it your core, your child core, that little boy, that little girl inside of you. Everybody has that person, right? No matter how old you get, you still have that person, that little boy, that little girl inside of you. That's your core. You'll never run away from that core. That core is going to stick with you no matter what you experience, no matter the hardships, no matter the heartbreaks, no matter the pain, no matter if you go to jail for 20 years and you come out and you are hard and you mad at the man, no matter how many times you've been cheated on, no matter if you experience death all the time, no matter what you've experienced, there's going to be somebody or something that's going to bring you back to your core self. It's going to remind you of who you are.
so
So
what
it's
is it that
always there.
so how do you grow beyond nature? Like,
You
this is
got
like
to,
a nature versus
mm,
nurture question. So when does nurture come into play to you from your perspective?
when nurture comes to play. Oh, that's a good question. I need y'all to answer that too. What y'all think? Miss Sonya, what you think? Paula, what you think? When nurture comes to, because nurturing is what the water does to the plants. Nurturing is what the sunlight does to the plants, right? It adds to the growth of the plant. The fertilizer is always doing what it does, but at the bottom, it's handling that part. But the sunlight and the rain comes from the top, and it trickles down the head of the plant, and so it's helping it in that way to grow. And that's the nurture part. That's where our mothers are. You know, people and our fathers. People that say fathers are not nurturing. I think fathers nurture in a different way. But I think the nurture comes from when somebody's broken. I truly believe that they have to go back to where they was broken at.
That's
Right?
interesting.
If I was broken at 5 years old and I'm now 32, and I'm constantly seeing patterns of brokenness, people are telling me about they see patterns of broken. Paul would say, I don't know, of brokenness. Then I have to realize when I was broken, what took place in that moment when I was broken, and I got to go back to my 5 year old self. What's up, Jairus? Why do I have to go back to my 5 year old self? Because that's where my life stopped. Ooh, that's where it stopped. And instead of living, I started just existing for the rest of my life. My life stopped when I got hurt. My life stopped when I got abused. My life stopped when I got violated. My life stopped when my mom died. My life stopped when my father died. My life stopped when she left me. My life stopped this, da, da, da. My life stopped. And whenever your life stopped, in order for you to get true healing and growth, I'm good, Paul. I've been good. You gotta go back to where you was broken at and realize that you weren't just broken because along the way you went from broken to being shattered. And those pieces followed you all the way to where you are now. So once you go back, you're following the trail of your brokenness. And now you've gathered all of these pieces, and it's up to you whether you're going to put your life back together. Put that back together and deal with it. Deal with the hurt. Place it on a pedestal and face it head forward and say, this will no longer define me anymore. And then cast it into the sea of forgetfulness. And then continue your journey. But until you do that, you'll never be nurtured. You'll never. That's the nurturing part starts with you. The nurturing part starts within. We can't expect our mothers and our fathers and our girlfriends and our husbands and our wives and our pastors and first ladies. We can't expect our best friends, our circle. We can't expect those people to nurture us because it starts with us. We knew when it started, we're the only ones that can fix it with God. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm with
It was,
some of it. I'm with some of it.
it was a little deep. I can get a little deep. But
Okay.
but but that was a great question because a lot of people don't know that the reason why they can't get out of that sunken place is because they have not gone back to where they stopped living. You got to go back to where you stopped living. Yep, that's true purpose therapy. You know what I'm saying? That's true purpose therapy. And I promise you, this literally just dropped into me. This wasn't nothing that I rehearsed or anything. You got to go back to where you know you stopped living and started existing. Because that's the only way that you're going to get out of it and be able to move forward into your purpose and grow. You know, purposeful growth. I'm doing this on purpose. I demand myself to grow and be purposeful in my growth because it's going to be conducive to my destiny. I command myself to grow because it's going to be conducive to my destiny. How great is that? How great is that? You know, and don't get all quiet because I'm gonna feel like I'm preaching. I'm gonna need some water and a rag and some offering. But but you know how I am about these topics, Fee. These things are so real and it's so present. Miss Sonia says nurturing can happen at any time if you're open to it. This is why it's great to have spiritual fathers and mothers, especially if you never were nurtured growing up. I'm gonna give you my offering because that was it. What do you think about that? Do you think that because I wasn't truly nurtured growing up. Were you nurtured growing up? What's up, bro?
Yeah, I mean, I was nurtured by different people in different ways. It wasn't,
Mm.
I am truly a village child.
Me
Okay.
too. I had
So,
to be.
yes, I think I was nurtured. I had a lot of love, not just because I had a big family, but my family really is a loving family. So I did
Hmm.
have a lot of love, but the nurturing was kind of different for different people, like in different areas of my life, sometimes at different times in my life. So yeah, I think that I feel quite fortunate because I also know what it looks like when someone missed out on some of the things that I had. I've been able to experience life with friends who had a totally different, life experience than I did. So I feel like I was quite fortunate with nurturing. And then not just my family, I was always uh, lucky to have people that I knew that I felt comfortable with in areas outside of just like familial areas, but like career wise, um, or like creatively. I always had people who I felt like I could sort of attach myself to and I can go to for counsel. For example, Miss Sonia, not to call you out, but you're like the perfect example for me, like creatively as far as nurturing, because she is someone who I felt comfortable with
Hmm.
saying, hey, can you help me out with this? Where do you think I should go from here? And she sort of mentors me like whenever I need a little, help. So
Hmm.
I feel like I've always been